Okay, today we're going to learn how to find an equation of a line when they give you some information. Okay, so that's what this section is about, determining equation of a line. So today, all you have to do is come up with an equation of the line when they give you some information about the line. Does that make sense? So really, let me just show you the key concept of this section. If you understand this part, you're done, really. And they get a little bit creative. But let me show you what we need here. So write this down. Key concept. To write an equation of a line, you need two things. Okay? Anybody have any guesses to what we're going to need? As you write this down, think about this. I bet a lot of you already know. Just write this down. As you write this down, think about what two things we need to write the equation of a line. Okay, so I'll wait. Okay, so Brandon, what do you think? Brandon, what do we need? What are the two things we need here?
Slope and y.
Exactly right. How many put that the same way? Slope and the y-intercept. We basically need m and b. Why? Because why does that help us? Because once you know the m and b, we're done. We could write the equation of the line because of, how about Annie?
Well, can't you also know like the x-intercept in the equation?
Sure, you could. So if you know the x-intercept and y-intercept, what would be the equation of the line then?
You would like plug in the y, you'd make it 0, and then the x-intercept.
So can you tell me the equation of the line? Okay, let me tell you. Let me. How about this? Let me ask you. I tell you that the slope, I mean the x-intercept is 1, y-intercept is 2. What's the equation of that line?
What, if you know both of them?
Yeah, didn't you say we need the x and
Like
y-intercept?
if you know the slope and the x-intercept, then so it's like the x-intercept.
Like
Do you-
if you don't know the
Because then you can
y-intercept.
find y-intercept.
Okay, you can find the y-intercept. You're right. But yeah, and after that, you will need the slope and the y-intercept, right? So yeah, you're right. I mean, with the x and y-intercept, yes, you could find the slope and the y-intercept, right? But it actually comes down to this. At the end, you're gonna need the slope and the y-intercept, right? That's what I'm trying to say. Good. So Annie, why do I need slope and the y-intercept? Why is this nice?
Because then you can plug it into an equation.
Exactly. Which equation are we going to plug this in? Slope, intercept form. Y equals to mx plus b. All you need to do is plug into the slope intercept form, right? Do you see why this form is really nice? Because once you know the slope and the y-intercept, you have the equation of the line. Does that make sense? And Annie's right. Later, we're not going to just give you the slope and the y-intercept and ask you to find the line, right? I'm going to give you like x-intercepts, y-intercepts. I'm going to give you all sorts of different ones. But at the end, all we need to find is the slope and the y-intercept. Does that make sense? So it kind of puts everything that we learned so far together in one sort of section. So this is kind of nice, okay? So that's the key concept. Once you understand this, right, rest is really easy. Again, we're finding two things. When they want you to write the equation of a line, what are the two things we need? Slope and the y-intercept. Do we need the x-intercept? No, not really, but we need to find the y-intercept. Does that make sense? Once they give you the x-intercept, we'll do something with that to find the y-intercept, but does this make sense? This is what we need. All right, so let's move on then. By the way, we're going to review a little bit in terms of x and y-intercepts before we go on. So let's see if you remember this. Okay, here we go. Let's review a little bit, because on your homework tonight, they're going to ask you to, well, they don't really tell you, but you have to know this to do this, your homework tonight. Okay, so who remembers? How do we find x-intercepts? What do we plug into the equation? If you want to find the x-intercept, who remembers? How about Jonathan?
Y equals 0.
Y equals to 0 and x equals 2?
Well, x can equal anything because depending on what equation you have, but to find the intercept, then the other coordinate has to be 0.
Exactly. The y coordinate has to be 0. I usually just plug in a for, remember? We call a for the x-intercept, right? So you plug in x for a and then y for 0. You guys remember that? Because remember, x-intercept, every point on the x-axis, has the y coordinate of 0. You guys remember that one? That's sort of a nice review. What about y-intercept? You guys remember? What do we plug in for y-intercept? If you want to find the y-intercept, you plug in. How about Angie? What do you think? 0, comma b. You guys remember that? Right? The reason is because, remember, if the point is on the y-axis, right, the x coordinate has to be 0. You guys remember that? So it's sort of a nice review. Even though they don't tell you, you have to remember this to do your homework tonight. Okay, so I'm sort of reminding you of these two facts. You guys remember that? Right? We did this. Remember? We even grabbed these using charts, x-intercepts and y-intercepts, right? All right, so let's move on to then our first example, okay? So keep that in mind as you do your homework tonight, okay? On tonight's homework, they're going to ask you to do this. Write the equation of the line, and they're going to give you some information about the line, okay? So this example one is the easiest one you would ever get, okay? So it does not involve any math at all. They give you this. They tell you the slope is 2, y-intercept is -6. Okay? Right? So everybody should know then the equation of this line, right? Right? Okay, good. All right, so this will be the easiest question that you will get on tonight's homework. They tell you the slope and the y-intercept. They just tell you these information that we need. So what is going to be the equation of this line? Okay, how about, let me see. Let me pick somebody at random. How about, you should all know this, right? This is like the easiest question you get. Zareth, what will be the equation of this line?
Y is equal to 2x minus 6.
Exactly. All you have to do is plug it in, right? They tell you the m, they tell you the b, right? Just plug it in. Y equals to 2x 2x plus -6, which is just 2x minus 6. When you simplify, you just write it simply this way. Okay. Does that make sense? Do you think they're gonna give you a bunch of these for your homework tonight? Of course not. They're gonna get a little bit creative. Okay. They're not gonna just give you the y-intercept and the slope. Okay. Okay. So let's look at example 2. Okay. Let's all think about this. Okay. So they're not gonna just give you the slope and the y-intercept. What do you think they're going to give you then? They could give you a slope, and instead of y-intercept, guess what could they give? Maybe x-intercept. What if they give you slope and x-intercept? Well, that's our second example. They tell you the slope, which is -3, and x-intercept, which is 1/3. Okay? So this is how they get a little bit creative. But it turns out it's not that hard to figure out the y-intercept from this information. Okay? So write this down, and as you write this down, think about what you would do. Okay? All right. Any idea as to what to do? Some of you? Okay. Okay. All right, so let me write down what I know first. Is that okay? Without the y-intercept. So, by the way, on the test, thank you. On the test, can I write this? Y equals to -3x plus 1/3. Can I write the equation of this line is y equals to -3x plus 1/3? Would that be right? No, because 1/3 is not the y-intercept. That's the x-intercept, right? So some people just write that. That'd be wrong, okay? This is x-intercept. So, well, I know my slope, don't I? I don't know my y-intercept. So all I'm going to do right now is just going to write down this. Just write b, because I don't know what b is, right? I get y equals to -3x plus b. Okay, some of you have an idea? Okay, hold on. All right, so here, let's find the y-intercept. Well, to find the y-intercept, b, all you have to do is remember the order pair for the x-intercept. What's the order pair for the x-intercept? X-intercept is, yeah, a comma 0. So what is your a here? 1/3. So what's the order pair for this x-intercept? Here's the key. X-intercept is, isn't it 1/3 comma 0? Would you not agree? So knowing this, guess what? Isn't this x-intercept a solution to this equation?
Yes.
Right? Because it's part of this line, right? So guess what I'm going to do? Plug in y equals to 0, plug in x equals to 1/3, and that will get you d. Look what happens when you plug in like this. Okay. Don't you get this? Right? What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to solve for b, right? But I know what x and y could be. I know one of my solution, right? Which is 1/3 and 0, correct? So all you have to do is plug it in and find the unknown, which is b. Can you do that? Everybody go ahead and find the unknown. See what you get. Okay. Did you all get b equals to 1? Yes? Okay. So we then know the slope and the y-intercept. Are we then, remember, we just need two things to write the equation of the line. They gave us the slope. We were able to find the y-intercept by plugging into the equation, right? Does that make sense? So because they gave us the x-intercept, which is the solution to this equation, right? When you plug it in, you should be able to find b, right? So who can tell me the equation? How about Ala? What's our equation? We know the slope and the y-intercept, so.
Y is equal to -3x plus 1.
Exactly. Easy enough, guys? Yes? So when they give you the x-intercept, all you have to do is plug it in to the equation and solve for b. That's easy, right? Easy enough? Okay, good. So write that down. So example 2b, it says, now what if I give you not an x-intercept, but just a point that the line passes through? So that's another way of, right, giving you this information, right? I give you the slope, half, and I say, give me the equation of the line that passes through for -1 with this slope. What do you think we're going to do? Well, we already know the slope, right? M equals to what, guys? half, right? So we're halfway done. Well, all we have to do is what, guys? Find the y-intercept, right? So guess what we're going to do? We're going to do the same exact thing as the x-intercept, right? Because 4, -1, isn't that still the solution of this line? Because the line passes through 4, -1, right? They're telling us this is part of our solution. So all we have to do is what? Let's just write down what we know. Y equals to half x plus what? B. And all we have to do is what? Find B, correct? Right? Well, how do we find B? They gave us the solution to this, just like the x-intercept. What are we going to do here? 2 people see it? Everybody go ahead and discuss. What are you going to do? Because this is sort of exactly, that's why I call it example 2b. It's very similar. What are you going to do here? So who can tell me what to do here? How about Ria? What did you come up with? Yeah, you could plug in 4 and -1 to this equation to solve for b, right? Because all we need to figure out is b. We know what we could plug in for x and y, don't you? By the way, what are we plugging for? So when you plug in, you use the parentheses. What do we then plug in for y? Here. Is it 4 or -1? It's -1. Please don't plug in 4. People, if you see the 4 first, they plug it in here. What do you plug in? This has to be the value of y. It says y coordinate, right? So what do we plug in? -1 here. And what do we plug in here? 4. So that's how you find the b. Just like what we did before, right? You know how we plug in that point, x-intercept? This same exact way. So this is x, and then this is y. That's what you plug in. So you -1 equals to, what's this? 2 plus b. What's b, class? -3. All right? So what is our equation of this line? How about, so we found everything we need. We got the slope, we got the b. How about, Alvin, what's our equation of this line? Yeah. Easy enough, guys?
Yes.
Okay. So that's how they get sort of creative. Instead of them just giving you the slope and the y-intercept, right? They give you slope and the x-intercept, slope and a point. You know. Okay, does that make sense? All right, let's move on to the next example then, okay? So far, have you noticed they all gave us a slope, right? Right? But do they always have to give the slope? No, not really. What could they do? What could they be... How can they be creative in terms of giving you the slope? Rather than just giving you the slope, what can they do here? Dominic? Yeah, they could give you 2 pairs of points, right? Do you know how to find the slope with given 2 pairs of points?
Y squared minus y minus...
Not y squared. Y sub 2 minus...
Oh, y sub
2 minus y sub 1 over...
x sub 2 minus...
Exactly right. So here is the example 3. So far they have given you the slope. Now they give you slope in a sort of a creative way. They just give you the 2 points. So they want you to come up with the equation or line that passes through these 2 points. 1, 1, 2, 4. So when they give it to you this way, all you have to do is find the slope, right? You know how to find the slope, right? Remember, you write down the equation of the slope, and then make sure you label these, right? I'm going to call it x of 1, y sub 1, x of 2, y sub 2. Okay, go ahead. Everybody try. I'll wait, okay? Please remember to plug them in using what? Whenever you plug in, I'll ask you, parentheses, please do that, okay? Because if you don't, you may make silly mistakes. I don't want you to make silly mistakes. Go ahead, everybody, try. So, okay, good. A lot of people, I think, got it right. How about, Amy, what did you get as your slope when you plug it in? By the way, how did you plug in? For the first top, y sub 2 minus y sub 1, what did you write?
4 minus 1 over 2 minus 2.
Exactly. Okay, did you all do that? Did you all use parentheses? And what did you get when you... 3. Okay, how many people got 3? Which is 3 over 1, right? Good. Once you get 3, now it's the same exact thing as before. We have the slope. How do we find the y-intercept? Well, it's same as just like previous example, right? You plug in, okay, a lot of you already see. You plug in y equals mx plus b, right? And now, to find b, which point should we use? We have 2 points. Now this is key. Which point should we use here? 1, 2, 3, 4 people see it? E-Ray, which one? 1, 1 is because it's easier. Can we use 2, 4?
Yes.
Yes, you can. Why? How is it possible that you could use any of these points? Who could explain? You're right. I could use 1, 1, 2, 4, and if I have a choice, I would use the simpler one, right? 1, 1. Elisa, how is it that I could use any of these two? Because they have the same slope. That's not the reason. Because 2 points could have same slope of 3. There are many 2 points that could have slope of 3. But I could use 1, 1 or 2, 4 is because, Elisa, the line goes through both of these points, correct? Right? And what does that mean? If the line goes through both of these points, both of these points are the solution of the equation. Does that make sense? So because both of these are solutions to this equation, right? You can plug in any of these points, right? It'll still make that equation true. Does that make sense? Is that okay, guys? So you can plug in any points that belongs to the line, right? Both of them belongs to the line because the line passes through both of these points, right? So I'm gonna plug in 1, 1. You're right, because it's easier. So when you do, go ahead, everybody plug in 1, 1. Tell me what B is. Now, if you don't believe me, some of you could plug in 2, 4. You should all get the same B. Okay. So go ahead. If you like to plug in 2, 4, that's fine. Either you could plug in 1, 1 or 2, 4. You should get the same B. Everybody, go ahead and try. Okay. Anybody gonna try plugging 2, 4? Okay. Go ahead. You guys plug in 2, 4. Rest of you plug in 1, 1. See if we get the same answer. Go ahead. Because I'm telling you, both of these points are solution to this equation, so you should get the same y-intercept. Go ahead, everybody try. How many people got -2 as the y-intercept? Okay, and how many of you plugged in 1, 1 and got -2? Okay, good. How many people plug in what was it, 2, 4? How many people got plug in 2, 4 still got -2, right? As a y-intercept? You see, it doesn't matter which point you plug in. So of course the equation is y equals to 3x minus 2. You see how they get kind of creative? Right? So they could just give you 2 points, right? By having 2 points, you could find the slope and the y-intercept. Not a problem. Does that make sense? All right, let's move on to the next example. Okay, let's see how they get a little bit more creative, okay, than this. Here we go. Example 4, they got a little bit creative, not that much. Instead of giving you 2 points, they give you the y-intercept and x-intercept. And you say, well, that's easy. Because once they give us the y-intercept, we know this is the same as giving us 2 points. Isn't that right? Why? Because what do they mean by y-intercept equals to -2? What is the order pair? Yes? Kira? 0, -2 is correct. And when they say x-intercept equals to 5, what is the order pair? 5, 0. You see? And this is the same exact thing as the example 3, where they gave us 2 points, right? Instead of giving us 2 points, they give us the y-intercept and the x-intercept, and we know what the order pairs for these are. And do you know why I asked you to remember what the x-intercept was and y-intercept was from the last time? Yeah, that's why, because they're gonna give you some of these on your homework tonight. Okay, go ahead and everybody then find the slope and then find the y-intercept. Okay, go ahead, I'll wait for you. Okay, go ahead. All right, so how many people got the slope as I got 2/5? How many people got 2/5 as a slope? Oops. Okay, very good, thank you. All right, then once you got the slope, which number should we plug in?
0.
Yes, Angie? 5, 0. Yeah, you can plug in 5, 0. Can I plug in 0, -2? Does it matter?
Nope.
Doesn't matter, right? Just like before. Did anybody not plug in anything? Okay, turns out when they give you the x and the y-intercept, it's sort of a bonus. Why? How come you don't have to plug it in? You can plug it in and get the y-intercept. How come you don't have to plug it in? To find the y-intercept? Class? Why don't you have to plug in to find the y-intercept? They gave it to us. Look, they told us y-intercept because they... But could you have plugged it in? Yeah, you could have plugged it in. I don't know if I did it. Yeah, I didn't just... See, they gave us the y-intercept, sort of a bonus if they give you the y-intercept and so forth. So, yeah, once you find the slope, you're done for this one. But if you plug it... How many people plugged it in? Good. Did you get -2 as B? Yeah, it doesn't matter. But this is sort of a bonus when they give you the y-intercept, right? Easy enough? So, because they give it to us, you don't have to plug it in. But if you did, you still get -2. Okay, here we go. May I go on to the next example?
Yes.
All right, good. So take a look at example 5. So this is the way they kind of get creative here. It says equation. They want you to find the equation of the line that passes through -1, 3 and is parallel to 3x minus y equals to 4. But it's not that hard to actually figure out. All they're basically doing is, okay, people are writing this down. Okay, I'll wait. Go ahead and write this down and think about what they're really doing. This is sort of kind of a creative way of them sort of giving you these kind of problems. Go ahead, I'll wait. Okay, what do you think they're trying to do here? So I claim to you this is same way as if they gave us a point and a slope. If you're given a point and a slope, do you know how to find the equation of this line?
Yes.
I'm telling you, this is the same exact way. How is this point and a slope? I see the point. Indira.
Because the lines are parallel. So
Yeah.
they have the same slope.
The lines are parallel, they have the same slope. So instead of them just giving us the slope, guess what? They got a little bit creative and they gave us the equation of another line. Right? And all you have to do is find the slope of this line and just use that slope because they have to be the same, right? So what do we get when we solve for y? Well, here's line 1. When you solve for y equals to 3x minus 4. And do we even need the do we even need the y-intercept for the line 2? No, we don't need that. We just need the slope. So all you have to do is then, because they are parallel, you know that the slope is same, right?
Yeah.
So the line 1, negative 1, 3 is the point, and then the slope of the line 1 has to be 3, because they have to be same, right? Do you know how to find the then what? Do you know how to find the equation of this line then?
Yes.
Go ahead, everybody try. You see, this is sort of a long way of them giving you a slope. Okay, they just tell you, oh, find the one that's parallel to this. Okay,
Why do they have to do
go ahead.
so many colors?
Because they want to see whether you really understand what we mean by when the two lines are parallel and so forth. But that's all this is all it is. Okay, go ahead, everybody, figure out the equation of this line. Okay, did you all plug in 3 for the slope here, and to find b, what was the point that we were plugging in? I think it was negative 1, 3, right? Wasn't it? Okay, so you plug in 3 for y and negative 1 for x. Okay, what is your b? How about Rania? What'd you get? 6. How many people got 6? Okay, good. And am I done right now? Of course not. Grace, what's the answer? Y equals 3x plus 6. Easy enough? Does that make sense? Okay. So that's kind of a long. Now, by the way, what if they said the second line has to be perpendicular to this line? Which slope would you have used if they said perpendicular to this? Instead of using 3, you would have used negative
1 over 3.
negative 1 over 3. Yes, because if they're perpendicular, they have to be, when you multiply, you have to be opposite reciprocal. Yeah, it has to be negative 1. Does that make sense? So on your homework, they're gonna give you one that's parallel, one that's perpendicular, and so forth. Okay. All right. Let's move on to the last one. Now, this last one, you really want to pay attention to, because it's really simple, but sometimes people mess up. Okay, here we go. Here's now. So take a look at this example. There are 2 parts. Example 6a. It says they want you to find the equation of the line that is horizontal line through 3, 5. They want you to give them the equation. Horizontal line through 3, 5. Okay. Whenever they give you something like this, it's sort of nice to actually draw this picture. By the way, what does this look like? Horizontal line through 3, 5. Arvin? Yeah, here's 3, 5. Here's a picture. Here you go. 3, 5, and it's a horizontal line, right? You see that? Brandon, what do you think? Yeah, exactly right. This one, you don't need to do any math. Brandon is correct. The equation of this line is simply y is equal to 5. Why? Who's it that? Because it's a horizontal line. And what do you know about a horizontal line that passes through 3, 5? Yes, Stephanie? It has no slope. So m is 0, right? And what is your y-intercept? Well, it's 3, 5. If it's a horizontal, it's going to hit the y-axis at 5. So it's simply, you see slope is 0. You could plug in any points you want, right, to this equation, right? I chose 3, 5 here. Look, I plug in 3 and 5. What is your b? 5, right? So what's the equation of this line? Y equals to 5. Easy enough? So many times people get thrown off with that 3, right? That 3 is just happens to be part of this line, right? But if it's a horizontal line that goes through 3, 5, right? Every y coordinate is going to be 5, correct? And so slope is 0. You can plug in 3, 5 if you want to find the y-intercept, which is 5. You know the y-intercept is going to be 5 because if the point is 3, 5, right? It's going to hit the y-axis at 5, right? Okay. Good. So Ryan asked, what if the point was like 3, 7? What would the equation of this line be if it's horizontal? Y equals to 7. Yeah, it could be, right? What if it's a horizontal line through 7 and negative 200? What's the equation of this line? Y equals to negative 200, right? Does that make sense? All right, let's do one last one. Okay, let's see. Okay. And it will be very similar to this, but this one I like. Okay, think about this one. Here we go. So what if I ask you to find the vertical line, equation of the vertical line through 3, 5? Well, again, it's really nice to draw these things. When I draw 3, 5 and then draw a vertical line through 3, 5, by the way, what kind of slope does a vertical line have? It has undefined slope, no slope, right?
Yeah.
So what is the equation of this line? Well, look, if it's a vertical line, you know that something is always fixed. What is fixed? Which value is fixed? X value. X is always equal to 3, right? What's the equation of this line, guys? Y equals 3, really? No, y isn't always x equals 3, right? If it's y equals 3, you get a horizontal line. Because it's a vertical line, you know that it's x equals to some number, and we know what that number is. It's got to be 3, correct? Because it has to go through 3, 5. Easy enough? And it makes sense, right? The equation of this line is x equals 3 because it's a vertical line. X doesn't change. That's why it's a vertical line. Can you do something like this for your homework tonight?
Yes.
Okay, very good.